Stephanie Dinman here from the Dinman Homestead, and I am making some soap. But the other day I was talking to you about the tiny little cookie cutter that, let me show you. This little pumpkin, see it? Isn't it so cute and tiny? So I had an idea. I wanted to make a special like fall themed soap, but I want to do like a cookie cutter little pumpkin that you find within the soap bar. So it's going to be like a two-step process. I have some orange mica powder here that I'm going to dye this soap with. So I'm just going to add in kind of small amounts until I get the desired look into my soap base. My soap base is already kind of yellowish because of the oils and the beeswax. So, and this is a hot process soap, so this soap will actually be ready to use fairly quickly. I'm going to mix in my coloring. Also going to start to mix in my scent. I'm going to let this kind of start to cool off just a little bit while I'm mixing in the coloring, and then I'm going to mix in my scent. And my scent that I'm using today is pumpkin spice. And mica powder is an all-natural colorant that you can find in nature. There's all sorts of colors that come from mica powders. Okay, I've got this one pretty well mixed in. Now I'm going to add in my scent, my pumpkin spice scent. I'm not going to add in the whole jar because I'm still going to need it for the other part of the soap base as well. It almost looks like sweet potatoes, like a mashed sweet potato. Alright, now let's bring this over to the stove area where I have my pan set out. Doesn't this look like a pumpkin puree? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put this on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to try to spread this out pretty thin so that I can use my cookie cutter in a little bit when it starts to harden to make my little cutouts. So now what I want to do is I just kind of want to, as best as I can, flatten this out, if it'll cooperate with me. I'm just going to get my rolling pin and roll this out thinly. Alright, so we're working with, I don't know, maybe a ½ an inch or so. Let me see my cutter. Alright, so I've got my little cutter here, and we can do like a little test section to see. They're not going to come out very good because it's still super tacky and wet. But I can at least test the thickness of them. I hope these will turn out okay, not just look like little orange blobs. We'll see. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that thickness. So what we'll do now is we'll just let this cool. It is hot. Hot, hot, hot. And we'll come back and cut these. Okay, it did not take long at all for it to start to cool off and harden a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and make my little cutouts. Aren't they cute? think they're gonna turn out really good. Okay, I've cut up a whole bunch of little tiny pumpkins all over. And I used what was all the scraps left. I kind of just pushed them together and cut little chunks out of them, so just spare soap parts. But we've got a whole bunch of little mini pumpkins, and then I'm gonna put these into my big log mold. And I'll probably do like a black colored soap or something like that with these pumpkins. So when I cut them, it'll, you'll see the slice of the pumpkin in it. So I think that's gonna turn out pretty neat. I don't know, we'll have to see. But I'm not gonna be able to finish this recipe today because we've got a football game to go to. So I'm gonna let these just kind of sit out here and harden up, and then tomorrow I'll come back and make the rest of the soap and put them down into the soap bar, and then we'll cut it and see what it looks like. Pretty excited. All right, we've reached the second part of this Halloween soap. So I have put together all the soap ingredients for the second base, and it's been cooking in this crock pot. Now this is a hot process soap. So this is not a cold process soap where it has to cure for weeks at a time. This can be actually, you can use this right away, like the next day if you want to. The hot process basically cooks out all of the lye instead of waiting for that cold process to leach it out over time. So yeah, there's pros and cons to hot and cold process soaps, but this one is going to be a hot process soap, and I have been cooking it for about 45 minutes and it's done. It's got a very glossy, almost like petroleum jelly type sheen to it. So now I'm going to add in my colorant and my scents. And so I'm going to add in the color first. I'm going to add in the black. This is called Carbon Black, and it's the mica powder. So I've never done black before, so this will be a new one for me. Too pretty right now, but it's also a Halloween inspired soap, so it doesn't have to be really pretty, I guess. So let's get the mold real quick set up. Let me zoom out. So what I'm going to attempt to do, so I can get you here. Okay, I want to put my little pumpkins just down kind of in the bottom. So I'm going to put a layer of soap in the bottom of my mold. I'm going to spread this out as best I can. Kind of just like an even layer here. Something for them to stick to, right? And they may move and shift in there, and that's okay too. Because this soap is going to start to set up and start to harden. See? Like that. And then I'm going to stick my pumpkins kind of down inside. I want to make sure that I get a good amount just so no soap bar goes without a pumpkin. Alright, and I kind of staggered some of them towards the end, put them in a row and then staggered some. Now I'm going to fill this up and tap it down. Make sure the soap gets all in between, and then I'll do another row of pumpkins. Now I'm just going to cover it up again. Show you. We'll see how that works out. Who knows? Little pumpkins. Alright, so I'll set this aside. Now I do have a little bit of extra, so what I wanted to do was just throw some of these little pumpkins down on the bottom, some of these rounds, and see if I can't make a few extra soaps with it. I have 3 pumpkins left, and I'm just gonna smash these inside here. Okay, we will wait for these to dry, and then we will pop these out of the molds. And I cannot wait to cut the pumpkin loaf, the soap loaf. I can't wait to cut this one just to see how it turned out on the inside. Fingers crossed that it works out. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I've let this sit overnight and it seems pretty hard. So I'm gonna, normally what I would do is I would turn this all the way over and set it on its like top. But because I've got the little pumpkin sticking out, I'm gonna have to peel this away just differently. So let's peel this back. All right. Now, normally I have my, the cutter I have is like one with like ribs in it, but this one's just going to be a straight cut because I want to try to be able to see the pumpkins inside without too much damage to them. So I'm just going to cut straight down. That's funny. Look at this. It's kind of cute. I'll clean it up a little bit, make it more pretty, I guess you could say, because I kind of cut this at an angle. These are pretty cute. I'll zoom in so you guys can see this part. Oops, let's see. Stick into my cutter here. These are pretty fun. Yeah, I was afraid that was going to happen. This little pumpkin came out of its little side piece here. I'll just have to mash that one back in. Still see him? Cute. Got about 10 bars out of that. That's pretty good. And then I've got these other ones over here that I've stuck in these little rounds. Just gonna pop this out. Clean it up a little bit around the edges. This is a pretty rustic look to it. It's not I think they turned out pretty cute. And the smell, the scent is not The scent is not overpowering. It's got a very light, kind of almost like a spiced scent to it. But they're super cute, I think. Judging from my previous soap making, these will probably darken in color a little bit. Right now they're just kind of a gray, like a deep gray. Not so black as I thought that they would be, but they may still continue to darken as the moisture leaves the bar. So yeah, I think they turned out pretty good. I might try to do another version of these for like Christmas too. Maybe like a peppermint scent. But yeah, a little Halloween pumpkin spice soap bars. That's them. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me today on this one, doing the soap recipe and experimenting with the little cutouts. So hopefully I get to do some more with like Christmas and maybe Valentine's Day and just mess around with them. That's the cool thing about soaps, is that you can continue to like explore and do neat things with them. So I will pack these up and I will catch you on the next one. Bye guys.